All right, if you will, I'll ask you to come with me to 1 Corinthians this morning. I'm going to talk about something that might be, I don't know, well, no, it's not controversial per se, but it might be a little controversial in terms of how I will go about it. It's Valentine's Day. Yesterday was, and you know, everyone's got they got the hearts up everywhere. I went to Highlander yesterday because Trinity was gone, so I cooked. So I went down and got me a Highlander fry, and they had their little like heart balloons and whatnot set up. And I drove by the Escondido, and they had like a ton of balloons out front. I heard that Elizabeth was uninhabitable yesterday because everyone was out. There was just hour-long lines. Even Friday night at Longhorn, when I went to go meet with Will, we had to wait 25 minutes, and that was at 3 o'clock. I've never had to wait at 3 o'clock in a restaurant like that in my entire life. So it's been one of those weekends. Everybody's taking out the sweetheart or whatever it might be, going out with family and spending some time together. And the whole entire focus of this holiday, ideally, is love. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. 1 Corinthians, we're going to start in chapter 12, verse 31. And then I want to go into chapter 13. It's the love chapter. But I want to talk about this in a different way. And I'm going to say something that may, like I said, might be a little controversial. Just bear with me. I'm going to do my best to back it up. Because I've had some real thoughts on this. And I'm going to talk about some problems I've had with love. And I want to talk about why I think we might be entirely wrong. I think for my lifetime, maybe it has always been this way, we've talked about love the wrong way. And I'm going to challenge your conceptions this morning. We'll see what you think. Because I think it's important, especially given our lesson this morning, that we love like our Father would love. And I want us to talk about what that actually means and why I think we need to really rethink what that looks like. So, I want to read this one verse, because I'm not going to come back to it again. I'm going to read it this one time, and then we'll go to chapter 13. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 31, to give you a little context, this whole entire chapter has been talking about spiritual gifts. And there's been some problems in the church because people are angry that they don't have one, or they think they're better because they have a certain one, and so they're going about, and there's contention in the church. As the whole entire part that is being brought here, the Church of Corinth, is that we are one body, and we are many members, and we work together, and that it's not about I'm better than you because I'm the eyeball, and so I don't need you anymore. It's that we work together. But that above all, we come to this last verse, above all the gifts that are there, above all the things we might be able to have, verse 31 reads, "But covet earnestly the best gifts." And what is that? "And yet I show unto you a more excellent way." And so the idea here is, what is it? Because this is the only time you'll see this where we're told to covet something. It's told in the Old Testament, covet is bad. But covet is a strong desire. That I should have a strong yearning to have something. The only thing I should covet is going to be chapter 13. And so what it is, that I should covet the best gift. What is that best gift? It's going to be shown in this next chapter, and this is the best way, the more excellent way. And so what does that look like? It is charity. And if you will, I'll ask you to pray with me this morning. Lord, I thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be here today. I thank you for keeping us safe as we've traveled. And Lord, I'm very grateful that we could spend this morning without snow, without delay, that we might be able to come together as a church. And I ask that you'll meet with us here, that Lord, it'll be you and you alone that's lifted up. And God, that we might grow closer to you, and that we might intentionally, God, try to be more like you, that our holiness might be an intentional part of our life. And God, I know that's something you've really worked on me with. And so Lord, I'll ask you this morning to forgive us of our sins. I ask you to clear our minds of the distractions that might come into them. And Lord, that we might be able to focus entirely on you. And Lord, lift up your name and praise you. I'm so grateful for how good you are to us. Lord, I'm grateful for your mercy and love that we don't have any right to have. And Lord, I just want to say thank you. be with us here this morning. And I pray these things in your precious name. Amen. Now, chapter 13 is a very common chapter. You have heard these verses. You've heard them quoted. They're in any Christian card you're going to buy at this time of year. Statistically, one of those is going to be quoted. They're going to be in there that you might give it to your sweetheart. If you have Christian Valentines, I don't even know if they do that. These would probably be. These verses are going to explain to us a lot about this idea of charity. And that charity is the exact same. Why it is interpreted differently from love intentionally, but I do believe that it's the same word as agape. It's the same exact phrasing of that self-sacrificing love. But I want to point this out as my starting point. Okay, then we're going to go through this, and I'm going to tell you one of my major hang-ups as a person for 30-some years. When we talk about love, it is almost exclusively emotional. Now, we've talked about love being an action word. I've talked about that here. But I want to challenge this and say that it is bear with me, 0% emotion. That is my argument for this morning. Love has nothing to do with how you feel. Now, here's why. As a kid, this is a teenager. Lucas was a weird child, all right? I wrote things down that I had problems with. And I've worked through them in my life. There have been a number of things that I've had issues with. That I'd read the Bible, I'm like, I just don't understand how this works. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And over time, I worked through each one, and I'll eventually get to them. I used to carry a booklet with me all the time, and I'd have them written down, and I would just think about it from time to time. This is one that's been stuck with me, because one of the things I hate, and I'm going to bring up something that's completely not something to be brought up in a church. But I'm going to bring it up anyway. There's a real odd thing that happens when we don't separate emotion from what I believe is love. Because then we end up with a weird amalgamation of things like modern day Christian music. And there's some modern day Christian music that has some real, like, some of it's fine. Some of it is, Brother Tully used to describe it as, Jesus is my lover and God's my friend. And the problem with that is, there's some really odd songs out there, and when you listen to them, if you put it on 98.5, is 98.5 with Delilah, I wouldn't know the difference. I couldn't have told you it wasn't a love song, or whether it was a song about Jesus. Boy, there's some weird stuff said in music today. There's one that's in my head that drives me nuts. They changed the words of the song and caused so much backlash. Well, maybe one day we'll get to talk about that too. But because that church is one of the ones I've got a sermon about. Not because of the church. Well, there's everything. Anyway, so the whole entire piece of this is this. It's that when I put these things together, we end up in a wrong spot and things get weird. Because there was an episode, just bear with me, I promise. This is not biblical, but it is odd, and it's critical in the right way. There was an episode of South Park once, where the whole entire thing is they made fun of Christian music, because what happens is one of the kids takes modern day love songs and just changes the words out for them and puts the word Jesus in it, and then makes millions of dollars off of it. And they're singing these very overtly problematic songs, but they're putting the word Jesus in them. And everybody's stupid, because it's the whole entire thing, make fun of Christians, and then they make millions of dollars off of it. Now, you say, well, Lucas, that's because that's a godless show. But there's some valid criticism there. Because you can do that. Because I have. And then tested it on people, and they can't tell you the difference. It's very weird. Now, here's why I say this is weird. I'm told, this is why the whole entire piece of this, I'm told to love everyone. Right? That is my job. I'm told to love everyone as God would love. I'm told to be holy as my Father is holy. I'm told to love my neighbor. Well, now here's the thing. I'm also told to love my wife. It's the same word. That's a problem. I'm also told to love God. That's a problem. Because if it's all the same word and it's all emotional, that causes some real issues. There's dissonance in that word. There's dissonance in what is there, because all of a sudden, what if I don't have those emotions for someone? What if I just hate them as a person? Because there are some people who you just don't want to be around. They rub you wrong. That doesn't even mean that they're a bad person. They just get on your nerves. Sometimes there's people you just don't want to talk to. Does that mean I don't love them? Oh, I'm in a weird spot. I don't understand. What if I don't have this? This is the way it works. I don't have gushy emotions for God. I don't feel the same way about, I'll say it. I don't feel the same way about Brother Reese than I do Trinity. And if I did, I'd be mildly concerned. Okay? So does that mean I don't love Brother Reese? Or does that mean I don't love Trinity? That's a weird place to be in. Do you understand do you see my dissonance now? This doesn't make sense. So if love then is this emotion, and we talk about, how do I talk about it? What's the first thing we talk about with love? Love at first sight. I'm telling you it's not possible. It's not possible. Because love at first sight isn't love. It has nothing to do with love. And it can't. So here's my piece, because this is important. That's how we describe it. And I've been listening to a lot of different things. And then what brought this up was I was listening to a song that was like, it's like tangentially romantic, right? Like that's not the focus of the song, but it's kind of cute and it's like a sweet thing. And I remember hearing it, I was like, I don't like it. Like it doesn't make sense. Because that's not love. And what we're going to see in these verses is this has nothing to do with love. In fact, what I will say is, love then, and this is my argument this morning, and it's going to be a difficult one, and it's important for our marriages, it's important for our relationships with our friends, it's important for our church, it's important for our walk with God, and it's important for our looking at people who we might even consider an enemy. When I'm called to love my enemies, it doesn't have to do with I need to have gushing love for them in my heart. It doesn't have anything to do with empathy. It doesn't have to do anything with sympathy. Those are all separate things. Love is an intentional choice that is associated with action. And the reason I will make sure to make this argument, I need to make sure I say this now, is we've grown up in a culture in which love has to do with, I find someone, I fall head over heels with them, there's love at first sight, I have all these emotions that are boiling up inside of me, and that means I love them. So love is something I don't choose, it happens to me. But that doesn't work biblically. It can't. It doesn't work that way. Because if it's something that happens to me, if I don't love someone that I meet, that the Bible tells me I should, then there's something wrong with me. It means that I can't make it happen. It didn't happen to me, so I just don't know what to do now. If I don't have those gushing emotions for someone, what am I supposed to do? I guess I just don't love them. But what we'll see here in the scripture, and what we'll see as a whole, is this important to our culture too. So I said we were talking about head over heels, love at first sight, gushing emotions. You know how things work during this day? This is important. You didn't even pick your wife. You statistically didn't even see her. You never met her before the day you got married. Because what happened is, your dad picked him for you. And oftentimes, your dad didn't pick it either. The society had already picked it. Because you had to marry certain people at a certain age, and you had to have certain connections amongst communities, and so you would have it. That's why there was a dowry. We talk about dowries and talk about how problematic those are and things. But the way the dowry worked was, it was expensive to take care of people. And it was a business transaction. My family will join your family. We are taking on the economic burden of your daughter, so you will pay us to do so, and then we'll take care of her for the rest of her life. You go, well, that's pretty cold. Yeah. You know what marriage wasn't? It wasn't that's why we talk about Mary and Joseph. It's not I just love her so much. She was just the greatest thing in the world. No, Joseph had every right. His business deal had been done wrong. Did he love his wife? Absolutely. Did he show the love that Christ would? I would hope so. God wouldn't have chosen him if he wouldn't have. But this wasn't about, I fell in love with her when I was in Bethlehem one day. I was passing by through Nazareth, and I met this girl and went, man, that's the one. Actually, the only time we really see something like that's in the Old Testament. It don't work out any time it happens. With Samson, it happens with Samson, that doesn't go well. It doesn't go well either time it happens for him. That's the whole entire thing is, usually, in fact, if you look at like the Old Testament, they'd send other people to go find wives for them. You didn't even pick them. So it wasn't head over heels, love at first sight type thing. It's very rare. In fact, if you look at some of the ones in the Old Testament, I didn't even think about David. That didn't work out either. So the whole thing is, what was this emotion then? There's two pieces. Because if I'm told to love my wife, someone who I'd never met before, what if I'm told to love my husband, someone I've never met before? What if they're terrible people? The Bible doesn't have it. It doesn't say in there, if your husband's a bad person, you shouldn't love him. It ain't there. So this is my argument this morning. When we look at the way this works, there are emotions that come into us. And we can talk about those. They're serious. They're a big deal. They play a part in what we do in today's world. But that doesn't have to do with love. I choose daily who I will love. I choose it. It is a choice, and I get to pick it. Because it has nothing to do with how I feel. Feelings are things you can't affect. You might feel happy, sad. It's one of the things in counseling I always talk about. Feelings are valid because you can't stop them from happening. You can't stop yourself from feeling a certain way. It's what you do with your feelings that matter. During this time period, I'm called to love. In fact, I'm told this is the more excellent way. The gift I should be desiring is not the ability to preach and go out and prophesy. It's not to be able to speak in tongues. It's not to be able to heal. And it's not to be able to... What I'm called to ask for from God is that I might be given a gift of love. That I might be able to choose people to show an intentional love for. Because here in chapter 13 it says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Now that's interesting. Those are pretty big things. I mean, I'm not good at speaking other languages, not my strong suit. I don't have the way that they spoke in tongues in the Old Testament or the New Testament either. I can't do that. But it'd be pretty cool if I could. And in this one, it's not just in tongues of men, also as angels. That's like a higher level. The best part of that gift. But if I don't have charity, it's worthless. And in fact, it's actually worse than that, because the idea behind sounding brass or tinkling cymbal is to be annoying. If I don't have love, and I have one of the greatest gifts God can bestow upon me that everyone wanted, that's what they were arguing about in chapter 12, I will just be an annoyance. At best. If I have the gift of prophecy, and I know everything, boy, I wish I was that. I can understand all mystery and knowledge, and I have all faith. Something we're commanded to have. Something that's imperative to what we are as Christians. If I had the strongest faith in the world and could move mountains, if I understood everything that has ever happened on the planet, and I don't have love, I am nothing. Without form, void, useless. And though I were, here's the thing, if I were to bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, there's no greater amount of faith than to be burned for your belief. There's no greater sacrifice that one can make. To take everything I have and give it away so that I have nothing, so that other people might have more. But if I don't have love, it is nothing. That's the part that's come across here from Paul, is that you have to understand it doesn't matter what you want. But here's the thing, going back to it, does this mean if I have that gushing emotion, it doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense? Because the whole point is, if that's the case, I guarantee you there are at least 10 or 15 people in your life you have zero gushing emotion for. That's not anger or hatred. There might be people who you literally look at and go, boy, I'm going to the other side of the store. Oh, they're here, their car's in the parking lot, I'm going to go somewhere else and hope they're gone by the time I come back. I know. I see sometimes I'll see like, oh no. Let's go. Grab that cart. Come on. Honey, we gotta move. Wow, they might see us. Hurry, let's go. The thing is, you know, and the whole piece is, that means, if that's the case, that means nothing you do matters. You're nothing. You have nothing at all. And you'll never be anything. Because you don't have gushing emotion for people. You don't have empathy for them. The bleedingest of hearts for the people around you so much that you feel for them and you don't, so that means you're nothing. That's not what this means. Love is a choice. And now watch this, because let's look at what love is. These are things that are intentional and they are things that are actionable. This is the important part to this. 1, charity suffereth long. That's patience. By nature, we are not patient. No one is. I think it has to do with the fact that we know we're going to die one day. I genuinely do. And the fact that we know there must be an end point. And so we become impatient sitting. But the thing is, if I'm going to be patient, I have to choose to be patient. No one is patient by default. You know how I know? Because what happens when a baby's hungry? It squalls. It doesn't go, well, Mom's busy right now. I'll wait just a minute. I'm not hungry. I'll hold on. Don't worry, Mom. It's okay. Oh, I've soiled myself. I think I'll just sit here for a while and not say anything. It'll be okay. Nope. You get done immediately. Why? It needs to happen right now. I have a need. Need must be met. We're not patient by default. Why are we patient? Because God tells us to be. And honestly, that's how it should work as a whole. If you look at the whole entire way our good things that are set up in society are, it's because of this Bible. Our morals are all based in this Bible. And so the first one is patience. I have to choose to be patient. So, when I don't want to be patient, it's a choice. It doesn't happen passively. And guess what? That's not an emotion. It doesn't have anything to do with my emotions. In fact, it can be counter against my emotions. I can be sitting angry about my food. I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. It ain't happened, but I need to be patient. Why? Because charity, love, is patient. And it is, secondly, it is kind. Kindness is not passive either. In fact, I would argue that for the vast majority of people, in order to be kind, we have to work on it. It doesn't just happen by accident. Why? Because our immediate reaction is to be rude. And if you don't believe me, go open Facebook. Go post something mildly controversial there. In fact, don't even post anything. You don't even have to post anything controversial. I'll tell you one I saw this week. Posted somebody parked a car in your yard, and you don't know what happened to them. I read the comments on that post. There wasn't a lot of kindness in there. They don't even know why the car's there. What if somebody had their car broke down and they were trying to get it and they're going to come back at it? You don't know. Yeah. Where's your kindness? It doesn't come by default. Also, kindness doesn't have anything to do with being gushing or loving. In fact, I'm called to be kind to all people, especially those who are not the people who I would want to. You see what I'm saying? The piece is when I look at this, let's think about how God deals with us. God is patient with us. Beyond patient. To the point that, I'll say this, it's a thing that I get mad about and say, I can't believe some of the things in our country have gone on as long as they have. Like, where's God's judgment? You know what? I genuinely believe it's because God's waiting. He's giving them what, and this is a thing that I need to keep in mind for myself. He's giving them space for repentance. I believe it in my heart. He's letting them live one more day so somebody else might be able to come talk to them about Christ. And I ought to pray for that. That's the patience I should have. Part here about kind. The kindness that God shows us as enemies in Christ, as people who intentionally go and do things that He has specifically said are the worst things I can do. That's what sin is. It separates me from God. I am pushing Him away actively every time I sin. And not just a gentle shove. It is a thrust away. Because it puts a void between us. Because if I'm not perfect, perfection can't have any type of mingling with imperfection. My sin separates me from God. But I'm supposed to be kind. Now notice this. Charity envieth not. this out because I think it's interesting. You know, one of the things that's interesting, it's curious to me, it's tax season. I don't know if you filed your taxes. Fun fact, if you didn't know this, you can claim sales tax in the state of Tennessee because we don't have a state income tax. If you didn't know that, I got $300 back based on that this year. Just saying. That was a pretty cool little nifty thing I didn't know I could do. So if you didn't know, now you do. Tell your tax accountant you want to claim sales tax because we don't have an income tax. Might get you a couple dollars or, who knows what. But one of the things about envy is that we look at people with more than us and think, I want it. I always think the taxes, the reason I bring it up is people are really, they love spending other people's money. Did you hear about I'm going to bring this up, maybe it's a little political, but did you hear about Billie Eilish at the Grammys? Hey guys, no one's illegal on stolen land. So you should, we need to give everything back. Except for I'm living on stolen land. Oh no. Now what has happened? 3 security companies, they're like beating people up at the gates, throwing them off the properties. And it's like, okay. See, it's really easy when it's your money. But not my land, your land. Because you're the one who's living on land. No, mine's different. Why? Because it's mine. But yours, I'd love to be able to spend it because I want it. Or one of my favorite ones, you probably don't know any, none of you may know who this person is. I think it's Valkyrie is her name. She made the comment, she's like, yeah, we hate the rich. And the guy with her's like, aren't you rich? And she's like, no, I don't count. People richer than me. Oh yeah. Wow. Or like, I always love when they set the income limits for something like a spending bill at the federal level just above what everyone makes at the federal level, like in the Congress. Wow, who knew? Isn't that wild? No, not us rich. Other rich people. And so the thing is, why? Because they have more than me. And it's not fair that you have more than me. And to be honest, we feel it in our hearts too. All of a sudden you see someone driving around town, they got a new car. Well, how'd they afford that? We do the math. I know. That's not charity though. And here's the thing. You know what it isn't? That doesn't have anything to do with me feeling love towards someone. But it is. Because this is charity. It is love. It is an intentional choice that I will look at the things you have and say, thank God He blessed you with them. I hope He gives you more. Could you imagine the difference we might have? This will be something. If I were to look at Bill Gates and say, man, God has really blessed him. I pray God continues to bless him. Maybe he'll get closer to God. It's the goodness of God that leads to repentance. Maybe God has been so good to him, I really pray that somebody will witness to him. I'd like to see him. I'm going to pray for him more. That's what I should be doing. Thank God you blessed him with it. Now, here's the thing. Charity vaunteth not itself. And the idea behind this is the vaunt is to rush forward, right? The words in here, my little Bible says that it is not rash. Now, what does love tell you to do? Love. I ought to rush into things. I get you. Why? Why? It's love at first sight. It's wild to me when I look at this because here's the thing. The whole entire reason this is important is that if I'm not careful how I talk about things, all of a sudden things get confused. I'm in the wrong place because guess what happens? This is it. One day you might not love the person you're with. That emotion might be gone. You might lose that special feeling you had for a member of someone in your church. Maybe they were really special to you. Maybe they did something wrong to you. Now all of a sudden, you don't feel good about it anymore. You don't have that same emotional connection you used to have with them. What are you going to do? Now you don't love them anymore. But that's not what love is. Love is an intentional choice. That even when everything else dies, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to choose to show you these things. I'm going to choose when you're being annoying, I'm going to choose to be patient. When you're getting on my nerves, I'm going to choose to be kind. Whenever you have more than me and I don't think you deserve it, I'm going to choose to not envy it, and I'm going to choose to pray God bless you with it. Whenever I want to go in and slap you upside the head, or I want to meet you at the door and yell at you, what I'm going to do is not vaunt myself into it. I'm going to choose to show restraint because I do love you. It's different. And then it changes how I look at my relation with you. Because then I don't look for an emotion in my heart. I look for the choice. And then it changes how I interact with the people outside of these doors. Because I can love anyone without feeling anything for them. Because it's not about how I feel. It's about what I choose. And then when I think of God, when I start to lose my fire, when I want to really read my Bible, and I got into it for the first 2 weeks of January, and now all of a sudden I'm back out of it again, and I think, I must not love God, I can then choose to say, I'm going to get back, I'm going to do better. Maybe the emotion won't be there. Maybe I don't get excited when I sit down and pray for hours. Maybe I don't have an excitement when I read my Bible. It has nothing to do with emotion. It has entirely to do with a choice of action. Because if you think God romantically loves you when He sent His Son to die for you on the cross, you don't understand love. Because that's weird. And that's the only way I can say it. God didn't go, He doesn't have heart eyes, heart eye emoji, when He looked down at you and goes, oh, Judy is just, this is the greatest creation I've ever made. It's so wonderful. I love her so much. I'm so glad I sent my son to die on the cross for her. No, you know what He said? He said, I'm going to use your example, I'm sorry. Judy, you're a sinner. You're an enemy of mine. An enemy. By all rights, I should send you straight to hell. Because you deserve it. But instead, I love you. And I'm choosing to love you. And you go, well, this is where it goes in. The Bible says that God's only chose certain people. Whosoever. God doesn't want anyone to go away because He said, I am choosing to love you. Despite the fact that you deserve the punishment you have, despite the fact that you have no right to be called a son of God, you don't have the right to pray to me. You don't have a right to be close to me. You should be thrust away from me into darkness and gnashing of teeth, into torments eternal, because you don't deserve to be near me, but I chose you. I choose to love you. That's what love is. And then that changes things. Because then when things get hard, I should love more, not less. When I want to give up, I should love more, not less. I should have to try. And that's when we go into this. Look at the things. It goes more. It says it's not puffed up. Man, the amount of pride that can come into our lives about anything. And I'll tell you one, that, it's a thing that I have to be careful of in myself. Because by nature, I am a bit of a clean freak. Okay? I am. Trinity is in about 2 rooms of our house. She has a serious place that she likes to keep clean. You know the worst part? They're not the same ones. Because the ones I'm not a clean freak in are the ones she is. So here's the thing. So you know what happens sometimes? I think, well, see, I've been keeping my place clean. Look at that over there. Real easy for me to be prideful of myself. That's not love to her. And then what happens is that pride turns into resentment. And now all of a sudden I'm mad at her for something stupid that I haven't even said anything. Does it really matter if something's on the counter? No. It really don't. But if I let myself get into myself, if I let my emotions drag me, now I think, well, now I don't love her anymore because I'm mad at her and I hate her. And I know that's dismissive to say it that way, but it's easy to get there. But it's not about my emotions. I'm choosing it. I choose to say I love you. And here's the thing. In this moment when I'm not puffed up, I should intentionally. It's not just that I'm not puffed up. It's that I'm intentionally choosing to be small. I choose you over me. That's illogical. That's how people die in the old days. But guess what we're commanded to do? When you don't have enough food for yourself and you're barely able to make it, you should choose someone else. Because guess who did? That little widow. She brought everything she had. put it in. She didn't save some for later. It said she put in all of her living, as every bit she had left over, she put it in. They're talking about that little boy. I keep hearing this about, I don't know, it's a cringe. There's something cringe behind it. I haven't figured out what it is yet. But everybody's focused on that little boy with the loaves and the fishes. When Jesus comes and asks, has anybody got it? Well, he gave his whole lunch. All of it. He didn't hold some of it back. It's a fair point. There's something weird about it. I don't know why we're getting focused on it as a community, and I'll probably get mad about it eventually. So we'll hold on to that one. Put a pin in that one. I might come back to that. And when I do, you'll remember this. Let's go into the lesson. I'll finish. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Do you want to know what's interesting? If you don't know the statistic, I'm about to teach you something that will change your entire view of the people in your life. Do you want to know who you treat the worst in your life, statistically? And it's not close. I'm talking, it's not even remotely close. If you look at the bad behavior people have at work, it's like 25%. People in public, it's like 30-some%. So 30, 40%. People who are close to you, specifically your family or your anyone you're married, like your marriage or your like immediate family, you treat them worse than anyone else by about 80%. You want to know why? You know they won't leave. It's called impropriety. If you're ever curious about looking it up, that's what it looks like. It's called impropriety. There's an entire field of study into why people treat the people they love badly. Doth not behave itself unseemly. I should not treat the people in my life who are closest to me poorly, nor anyone else. It's real easy to yell at someone on Facebook because you can't see them. You know who else it's really easy to yell at? People on the road. And it's because we see their car, not the person. You wouldn't yell at a person like that, but you yell at the car. People treat waiters and waitresses as less than human. In fact, I'll tell you this, I've asked at almost every restaurant I go to, and you know what the day is they dread the most? Sundays. All the Christians come in. Ain't that something? That's not what we're called to do. I'm supposed to behave myself. I'm not supposed to behave myself unseemly. I ought to behave myself righteously. Seeketh not her own. I should not look for my benefit first. One of the rules, I told you about my rules earlier. One of the rules we had on our wall was take only what you need until everyone has had their fill, or something along those lines. The idea behind it was, at one point we had this issue where there were some people who would show up to our events and I'd order like 6 pizzas, and they'd eat 3 of them by themselves. So then the other like 10 people would get 1 slice of pizza, and the other ones would just be gone. They would come in and take an entire bag of I was going to Little Caesars at the time. That's probably why I got gluten allergies. We'd go in and get like the cheese bread. They just take a whole thing of them and just disappear. So then by the time I get in there, because I always eat last, I'd be like, "Where's the food?" Like, hold on a second, what happened? So I put it on the wall. Like, and the thing is when we brought it up, they're like, "Oh, I didn't even realize." It's like, what do you mean you didn't realize? Like, do you not see? But sometimes we don't see. Why? Because we seek our own, not our others. They're not thinking about everybody else. I'm thinking about, I'm hungry, I like cheese bread, and I don't care if anyone else likes it, I'm going to take it with me. And so here we are, as Christians, called to seek not our own first, but others. Is not easily provoked. Well, there you go. It doesn't say provoked to anger either, unfortunately. That's just a part of it. I ought to be one of the most even-keeled people, or try to be. You say, "Well, Lucas, I'm not emotional." You're right. Boy, isn't it coming all together. Yeah, you're right. Your emotions do get up real easy, don't they? Isn't that wild? But it doesn't say that. It doesn't say. But this is love. Love is supposed to be I'm supposed to be even-keeled. But then what about my emotions? They're coming up into all of this. I'm not supposed to be easily provoked. My choice. I have to choose it. I have to fight against my own nature. That ain't fair. But I have to choose it. Thinketh no evil. Boy, isn't that one. You know, this is one of the ones where it can happen in the most mild of circumstances. And I'll tell you this, I've watched entire friendships amongst my own, especially college group, happen because of this. I remember I was sitting in the Cove Center one night. It was like 8, 9 o'clock. There's no one there. there's like, it's my friend group sitting at a table. And I had made a statement, because I'll tell you this, I had made a statement in front of one of the people in power, I won't tell you who it was. I made a statement to them about one of the other people in my friend group. So I was like, yeah, this is how this is. Well, they went and told them, but they didn't tell them what I said, they went and embellished a little bit. Now, for whatever reason, they must have assumed I meant it towards their negative. I didn't at the time. I didn't mean it in a negative way at all. Well, that's not fully true. I didn't mean it in a slightly negative way, but not in like a criticizing way. It was like, yeah, no, this was a dumb thing you should have done. They came down, we got to knock down drag out in the middle of the Cove Center. Because they came down accusing. Now here's the thing. When they came to accuse me, now you know what I did? I reacted by thinking evil of them. Who are you to come and attack me? I didn't hear, hey, I'm hurt, and I need to express to you something. I heard, I think you're garbage, and I'm going to come yell at you. And so I went, oh, okay. Well, guess what? I can yell right back. So see, I wasn't thinking about them in the right way, and they weren't thinking about me in the right way. And by the end of it, you know what was crazy? We found out we'd been lied to. So then we marched over and yelled at someone else. Because the first there. So here's the thing. Now, that wasn't good, right? Problematic. But the part is, my love, I should have not listened to, I'm going to come yell. I should have went, oh, this is not, they don't mean that towards me. They're my friend. They don't mean that towards me. They care about me, and I should care about them. That's how we work. Now, almost done. Rejoiceth not in iniquity. Now, you go, well, Lucas, we're not called to like sin at all. You are correct. But the idea behind this is, it's not just that we shouldn't like sin, because the whole piece to this is not just I shouldn't rejoice in their falling from it either. The whole entire part here is, I shouldn't like when people do things that are bad or sinful, but I also shouldn't be glad when they fall from it either. That's also not an easy choice. But instead, you see what I'm supposed to rejoice in? The truth. That's hard too. Because here's the thing. I'm a person who gets himself in trouble on a regular basis because I don't know how to not just say things sometimes. So when someone comes and asks me something, I will ask them, are you sure you want me to tell you what I think? And then if they say yes, it's on you. Okay? So the thing is you know, this happens a lot at work. Where they'll be like, well, what do you think about this process? And I'm like, are you sure you want me to tell you? Yes. This doesn't make any sense and I don't know why you set it up this way. And now I've hurt somebody. But I can go, I can tell you who's doing it well. Or, hey, you really hurt me. That doesn't feel good to be told. You really hurt my feelings. But I should rejoice when people tell me the truth. I ought to be thankful. Praise God they came and told me. But that's not an emotion, because you know emotionally I feel? Well, you know what? Yeah, you're not perfect either. Let me tell you about you. It's easy to get there. Well, how dare you tell me I've hurt your feelings? Do you remember on March 13th, 1933, you did this? I've got it written down, because here's the thing. That's what happens. Boy, it happened. The relationships are the ones where it's like, I've got the list. I don't bring them out often, but I've got the list. You remember all the times you've hurt me? Yeah, but you said you've forgiven me for those. No. That's not the point. The point's not about forgiving. It's about you need to know you hurt me. And how dare you come tell me I hurt you? When I should say, thank you for being truthful with me. I'm sorry. What can I do to make sure that doesn't happen again? See, my emotions get all up in me. If I'm looking for emotions, I get in the wrong place. Final piece. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. That verse is almost word for word what our marriage vows are. Beareth all things, in sickness and in health. Believeth all things. Now that one's not really in there, but that's the whole piece of, I should assume the best of you in every situation. Hopeth all things. That's for richer or poor. Endureth all things, till death do us part. That's the promise I make. And you know, this is the other thing too, when I think about marriage in general. I've been thinking about a lot, obviously, this already. I make that promise for God. I don't make that promise to you. I don't know if you've ever listened to the vows. The vows aren't made to you. There's a reason why there's like a minister there. Those promises are not to, I promise Trinity that I will be there. It's I promise God I'll be there. That's a different piece. Why? It's not about emotion, it's about choice. And then you'll see here in that last verse, charity never faileth. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there should be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, and that which is in part shall be done away. This is the argument that a lot of these gifts have passed away. We don't see them in today's world. And that's where that argument comes from, is in this set of verses. The whole entire piece here, though, is that charity is not going anywhere. What is the greatest gift you can pray for God to give you? By default, it's not, man, God, I really wish you'd make me Benny Hinn so I could go slap people in the head and heal them on television. It's not, man, God, I really wish you'd give me the ability to prophesy so I could go over people and hold my hand over them and go, oh, you're going to have a car accident tomorrow. That's not what I'm here for. I don't want to be able to go and have all these things. I don't want to be able to talk in tongues and be able to get up in front of people and gibber and where I can't understand what I'm saying. What I should be praying for, the gift that I should want and desire above all, is the only thing I'm told to covet in the entire book is love. And I'll say this is the other piece too. If love is then an action that must be chosen, and is indeed not an emotion, it is not something that someone who is unsaved is going to be able to do. Because guess what? If you read through this right here, as a Christian, is the only way I can do it is through Christ. If not, why in the world would I do any of the rest of this? I'll fashion myself unto like my Father. And who's my Father? If I'm not saved, it's Satan. And if I'm not careful as a Christian, I'll fashion myself unto him too with my love. My actual love. Because it's easier. It's passive. So what will I do? It's Happy Valentine's Day. Boy, that's an uplifting message, wasn't it, for love? Happy Valentine's Day. It is a time when we should show love. I don't disagree with it. You know, people. I read a comment the other day. It's like, I don't celebrate Hallmark holidays. Okay, fair. You don't have to go buy things. But I do think it's an important reminder that we should have in the year. I need to show love to people around. We do it around Christmas. We do it around Thanksgiving. I think it's an important reminder that there needs to be love shown. But sometimes we forget in the hustle and bustle of things around us. But I want us to keep in mind, because this is so important. And I think it's really important for our kids and even our own mindsets as we're growing up. We have to be careful. Because it's too easy to look for an emotion. And then because this is the thing that got me. I'm going to tell you how this whole thing came about. I told you I was listening to a song. That's after. One of my biggest regrets in life, and I mean this genuinely, it bothers me to this day, as I dated a girl who I really cared about. She was one of my really close friends, and I said, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to tell you because I feel it's important. I remember having to say, I don't think I love you anymore. And it broke her up really bad, as it should. And I feel awful for this, okay? But here's the thing. That ain't how it works. That's not how love works. I'll tell you what it was. I lost the emotion that I had. And I didn't want to spend the energy being with her anymore. But that's not love. And it's bothered me for years. Because that doesn't make sense. Because this is my piece. If I am to be like Christ and have love, how is it possible that I can lose my love? How is it possible I can fall in love with someone and then lose it? That don't make any sense. But it's because there was another emotion, and I don't like calling it lust because we associate lust with sin, and I do think it is usually sinful. But in this case, I don't know. There's pieces to it I don't have to give you the language for. But the problem is that doesn't make sense. I'm called to love all people, so how could I lose it for someone? It doesn't make sense. And what it really was, I just didn't want to work at it. I didn't really want to be with them. And it hurt me, and I know it hurt her. And so when I started thinking about that, I don't know why that song brought it back to my mind, but I was listening to the song and I started to think about it. If that's the way I approach everything in my life, we get a society that throws people away when they stop feeling for them. And that's not Christian. When I lose that little warm feeling, and we do it for churches too. It's like, man, I go to the church and now I lose my warm feeling, I stop going, I don't care no more. We do it with working out, we do it with everything, and we start to treat things as disposable. But that's not me as a Christian. I'm supposed to love people, and that's different. It's separate from what I might feel in a romantic relationship, because the love I should have, because this is biblical, the love I should have for Reese should be the same as the love I have for Trinity. Because I should love you in the way that Christ loved me. That's what commanded me. Now I have special responsibilities for her, but the love I have for you should be the exact same. And it should be the same as I feel for Claude. Because I should love you as a Christian. And that's my thought that I want you to take today. And not just Claude, but Jeffrey Epstein. I ought to have the same love in my heart for them. It's not an emotion. And actually, I don't even know if love is centered in the heart, because the heart's the center of emotions. I got to figure out that one. That's another story. That's on the back burner. That might be a part 2 one day. So my thing that I'll say today is choose to love. Every person we come into contact with, that's what we're called to do. I should love them. I should have patience and kindness. I should show them. I should choose them first over myself in every single dealing, especially when I don't have the emotion that should go with it. When society says you should have a gushing love, and I think Satan's done a great job of it, because then he gets it all conflated in the wrong way, and then we start talking. It's why I don't like the words relationship with Jesus. Because it makes me think of a gushing love, and that ain't how I'm supposed to be with Jesus. I choose. It is a choice that is made, and it's made every day, because if I don't replace my sin with holiness, what I end up with is a big hole that gets filled up with more sin. And then the thing is, then I'm a bad person. I feel like I'm not a Christian. I quit going to church. Show love, especially to those who don't show you love, because that's what our Father did to us. If you will, I'll ask you to pray with me. I appreciate your attention. I really didn't intend to go over today. I was trying really hard to keep it close. I did really good with the Sunday school lesson. I didn't expect to go long. I really didn't even have any hardly notes written down for this. I really debated over what to preach today. This is what I felt like God told me to go to. And so my hope then is that we'll go forth and we show a 1 Corinthians chapter 13 love to the people we interact with. And we do it intentionally, and we do it with an action. It not be dead, it not be passive. That's not how Christianity works. It's an active piece. And so that's my prayer this morning. And I ask you to pray for me in it too. As I've realized a lot of things in this and studying that there's some pieces I got to work on in my life. And I feel like every time I get a couple of them done, I think, well, I'm doing pretty good. And God gives me a new list that's longer than the last one. So pray for me. I might do that and be a better example as a pastor for you. I'll be praying for you that we might be a better example outside of this church, and that we might be true as to what a Christian should be. If you'd like to join me to pray, you can join me here on the altar, and then we'll be dismissed from there. Lord, I thank you for bringing us here today. Lord, I'm grateful for your example. It'd be so easy to just live my life the way I want to and act and do as I feel like I should in my own heart. But God, as we see in the book of Judges, when every man does what's right in his own eyes, Lord, we end up in a really bad place. So God, I thank you for your example of love, and I thank you for spelling it out for us. And I ask you in my heart, God, that you will help me to tear it away from this idea of emotion, Lord, that I might love with intention, God, and that I might find these ways to show love, Lord, even to those who in my heart I don't want to, and my emotions tell me not to, but God, that I might show them love even though it's undeserved, because God, you sent your Son to die on the cross for me. I didn't deserve it. I deserved to die. I deserved to be in the pits of hell because of my choices. But God, you gave me a chance of redemption because you loved me and you chose to love me. And I thank you for it. And I lift up your name, God, and I praise you. What a great God you are. How wonderful you are. We're undeserving of your grace and mercy, and yet you show it every day. Lord, help me to show grace. Help me to show mercy. Help me to have love for the people in my life. And for those I'll come into contact with, and especially those, Lord, who I don't want to do it. Well, my emotions say I should. Help me. And God, I'll come closer to you and draw close to you. And Lord, I just ask you for more help. Increase our faith. Just work on our hearts. Keep us safe, Lord, till we meet again. And may we lift up your name and bring glory and praise and honor to you today. I thank you. And it's in your precious name we pray these things this morning. Amen. Amen. I appreciate your good attention. I imagine today will not be much better for restaurants, so if you're going out to eat, Godspeed. Hope to see you back here tonight at 6. And I love you. And if you need anything from us, let us know. We'll see you then.